I'll be honest with you, it's entertaining to watch Joe Biden roast Trump, but I don't know if it's the right approach. For two reasons. One, that's Trump's game through and through. Like, you might be able to do that for one speech. Trump has literally done that his entire presidency. Do you know what I mean? That's all he knows how. In fact, I think Trump would prefer it if the race stays in a world of just roasting people and making jokes and being disparaging, because then you never have to get into policy, you never have to get into ideas, you never have to get into the details of how you're going to run the country. Trump loves that shit. So if it's just about, like, you know, roasting people, he's going to be in that game. He's never going to get tired. He's never going to look inept. You know, I honestly think it plays into his favor. You know, whereas Buttigieg had an interesting technique. I don't know if you saw him, they were like, "What do you make of Trump insulting you?" And he was just like, yeah, I don't do that. He's like, yeah, I mean, he can have his little childish insults, but I don't do that. And it like deflates everything, because it's like you remember in school, if like one kid was pushing another one, and another kid just walked away and was like, no, then the kid pushing looked like an asshole. You're like, no, you should stop. But if that kid was like, I'll push you back, then we're like, fight, 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 fight. And that's what I think can happen here. Because Joe can't do that for a year. He can't. Nobody really can. Remember when Marco Rubio tried that? Failed dismally. Thought he was going to jump into Trump's game. He was like, no, I don't insult, I don't insult. And then he snapped and he was like, you know what, screw it. Donald Trump has a small dick. And then the media was like, Marco, how could you say this? Like, but he said, you know, that. And they were like, no, Marco, that's disgusting. And then Trump came back in the debates and he was like, by the way, big dick over here. And then people were like, that's just Trump being Trump. That's what he does. Says it like it is. No, people like him or they don't like him. They've shown that people are, swing voters in particular, people who voted for maybe Obama and then switched to Trump, those people are intrigued by a lot of Democratic policies. You know, they do want health care. You know, they don't want to be crippled by student debts. They do want job security. They do want to, like, they want a lot of the policies. So if you tell them about the policies, they're intrigued. They're like, wait, what's that? I don't have to choose between having a house and paying for my kidney? Oh, tell me more. But then if you just go like, Trump's a bad guy, they're like, oh, whatever. And then as Trump gets to do his thing, that's who I am, doing my Sleepy Joe. Mentally slows down. And he's not wrong. Everyone slows down except him. Like, if we look at ourselves from 3 years ago, we're all slower than we were then. And Trump is the only one who's still like, da 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 da. You're like, Jesus, where do you get the energy? He just never stops. But if you get him in policy, I promise you now, just be like, hey man, let's talk about the numbers, let's talk about the economy, let's talk about actual policy. Then be like, I'm so sleepy.